Okay guys, we're now here in the workshop in the office, and here's a little update and why you haven't seen me flying in the last couple of, I think, 1 week. And that is because we had an issue here. We had to repair something and figure out something, and we've been sitting here, my dad actually has been sitting here for more than 12 hours I guess, trying to figure out how to repair this, and we still haven't found the solution really. So there's been a problem with our receiver, and for the first time we had to realize how hard actually this hobby is and how painful it can be sometimes if you're sitting here for hours and hours and don't find out the problem. And so now, after all these hours spent here trying to pair the receiver with the remote controller, we had to order a new one. That's not that big of a deal, that doesn't cost that much, but we wanted to figure it out and it did not really work. Today I'm actually making a video about a question that I get asked quite a lot recently. To answer the question, I'm now going to go upstairs and talk about that thing, so enjoy this video.
Let's go figure this out.
Okay, we sound so good. Okay, before we talk about the actual question and the topic of FPV here, I want to let you know, so you might be wondering what this is filmed on now. This looks a little bit different, I think. So I want to give you a camera update. Recently I made this video where I talked about why I sold the Sony, and you might have seen that I put it on my online shop, and literally I think half an hour later someone bought it. And now I don't have any camera anymore, so I sold my Nikon today and I sold the Sony. And I shipped all of this away, and now I basically don't have a camera, which is for someone like me the worst case ever. But now I'm using my dad's camera, which is a newer Nikon camera, and I thought a lot about which camera I should get now. And the whole Fujifilm thing, I don't know. I mean, for the same price I can get the full frame camera, and I thought I always liked Nikon. My dad already has Nikon lenses. So what it's going to be is the Nikon Z6, just that you know. I sold all of my camera gear earlier than I thought, and so I'm going to order the Nikon Z6 now, and that's going to be it. But enough with camera gear talk, let's talk about FPV. Here's the question that I want to answer today. Since I started this whole FPV gear, I've seen that there are a lot of filmmakers, especially people that like to create videos, that want to get into this, and the most asked question that I got till now is how much does it cost me to get into this and what kind of gear should I get? And so some gear recommendations. People also asked if it's worth to spend a lot of money on more expensive goggles, for example. Today I want to answer these questions, and with the knowledge that I've acquired till now, I want to help you out, and so I hope you find this interesting. Let's get into the different parts and how much they will cost you. Okay, recently I've been sitting down and then I took a sheet of paper, a small sheet, and I wrote down how much it does exactly cost if you want to get into FPV. And I wanted to answer this question here on YouTube because when I still had Instagram and now also in the YouTube comments, some people were reaching out to me over and over again when I got into this or when I got started, how much this cost. And basically people just want to know how much they need to plan on spending in order to get this setup that works. So I wanted to share this information with you and help you out here, because this is not like DJI. With a DJI drone, for example with a Mavic, that costs, I don't know, 600, and you just buy that and then you have everything. It's not like this in FPV. You need to buy different parts from different websites, maybe from Amazon or somewhere else. And before I start, I would also like to say I listed all the items below that you can check, and I will include different price categories and different setups, and that way you can easily find all the gear in one place. So let's get into this. The first thing that we are going to talk about is the actual drone. You have two options here, and the one that I went with is buying a pre-built drone, which means a drone that is already built. So you have the drone already. It's similar to a already complete skateboard. With skateboarding it was the same. You either buy a complete or you buy all the parts yourself, and there are disadvantages and advantages on both sides. It's up to you. I would say in the beginning it's better to buy a drone that's already built, because then you have already a setup that you can use, and then you will always learn how the different parts work and how to change something. But just so that you have a setup that you can start with. And here are two setups that I recommend, and this is just my personal opinion. There are plenty of other setups that you can check out. There would be so much that I could share here, but basically what you need to know is there are 3-inch CineWhoops and 5-inch race drones. Yes, there are also some other categories, but I went with a 5-inch race drone that's basically just faster, and it allows you to do more acrobatic or more flips and stuff like that. And the 3-inch Cine drone is better for filmmaking, I think, or for cinematic, slow shots. And it's a little bit slower and not that aggressive, so I might get myself also a Cine Whoop in the future. But for now I have the 5-inch race drone, the iFlight Nazgul 5 it's called. And my little tip here, so Banggood is a website similar to AliExpress, I think. It's also from China, but they have the best FPV gear for the best price, so Banggood is definitely a recommendation for FPV gear. And I know that also a lot of other people order their stuff there. I ordered the Nazgul 5 from Banggood and it cost me with shipping 200 euros. So that's the drone, $200. And if you want to get the Cine Whoop, if you think you don't need that fast of a drone and you just want to get some more cinematic slow shots, and maybe also it is better to start with a Cine Whoop in the beginning. I made a little bit of a mistake here, but anyway, then I highly recommend, and I've seen videos on it, the iFly Green Hornet it's called. And it's also around 200, I think 180 bucks currently. And it's one of the best Cine Whoops from what I've seen so far and read so far. But as I've said, there are plenty of other options with Cine Whoops and with 5-inch RACEQUADs that you can go with. In the end, I would say if you buy a pre-built drone in a middle range quality or in a middle range price class, it's going to be $200. You can expect $200 for the drone. The other way that you can do this, the second path, is building your own drone. And I would say that's more for the advanced people that already have experience with it. What you basically do, you order all the parts from maybe one website or different places where they are the cheapest or where you find them, and then you build it yourself. And that is what in the end you need to do anyway, because once you have also a pre-built drone, you're going to crash it and then you need to change the receiver and some parts of the stack and stuff like that. But here's briefly what you're going to need if you build the drone yourself. I have my little shopping list. First up, you need a frame, then you need the motors. I don't know how to say this. Then you need the stack, which is basically the electronics in the middle. And for the camera transmission, you need the VTX, the little FPV camera and an antenna. And then you also need the receiver for the radio and props, and I think that's pretty much it. And after checking a few videos and reading a few things, I found out that this also, definitely depending on the different parts that you're using, but this will also cost you around 200 euros or dollars, so it's the same as the pre-build. And so I would say for the drone, let's just say 200. And because with FPV you're not done with buying a drone, the next thing that you definitely need is a radio, which you control the drone with. With radios, I found that there is not too many options. There is this one brand called or I don't know how you pronounce it, FRSKY, and almost everyone is using their radios because I assume they work great, and also like mine, it works perfectly. There are different models, and the one that I use and the one that I recommend is the FRSKY, now I need to check again, QX7, and that comes in at 120 bucks. It is a great radio that can be used with all different drones as long as you have the receiver, which by the way in the iFlight Nazgul 5 is already built in. That's it for the radio. There is another option that you can go with, which is the also FRSKY or FRSKY X9, which is a little bit cheap. I think it's $90. And it should be pretty much the same. I don't know exactly the difference now, but for the radio I would say you need to spend $100. That's like the price that I think is fair. There are definitely more expensive radios, but yeah, $100, that's it. Then the next big thing on our list is the FPV goggles, which you need to see the actual transmission of your drone. And here from the price point, it is a little complicated because here are some different options. And there's this one company called FATSHARK. If you've never heard about it, I think it pretty much dominates this market and everyone seems to have FATSHARK. I also have FATSHARK, but a way old model or older model. I don't think that you can even get that anymore. I did not find it anywhere. But the ones that you see everyone using are the FATSHARK Dominator goggles, and they even are called Dominator. Ooh. And they come in at a pricey $450 for the goggles. And that's not enough, because if you have the goggles, yes, you can see your picture, but you still need the receiver in the goggles so that you actually receive the signal here. And there is this receiver that everyone uses with these goggles, the RAPIDFIRE receiver with antenna, and that comes in at around another $150. So in the end you are at $600 with this setup, and that's a whole lot for a few goggles. And so I did a little bit of research, you know, the internet is here for that. And so I found these other goggles which seem to be great, the eSheen EF100. They come in at around $100, and that's a whole lot cheaper than the FATSHARK. And I've saw some reviews and I can't really give you a full recommendation here because I haven't tried them myself, but I think they work pretty well. It's not that much of a difference from the $100 eSheen versus the $600 FATSHARK. So if you're just starting out, I would definitely get them. For me, it's been a little bit different. I already had the old FATSHARK and then we built this receiver case thing. So it's up to you what you got here, and you should definitely do some research here. But I would recommend, especially in the beginning, to go with this E-Sheen. And I'm even thinking about getting these myself and trying them out, because now I always have to bring this receiver case that we've built, and I'm going to check that out. But yeah, I definitely recommend these. For our conclusion, we need to spend another $100 to $600 for our goggles. Then the next thing that you are going to need if you actually want to film something, and I assume that you will need this because we are almost only filmmakers here, then you're going to need some sort of action cam to film what you're doing and to make cinematic videos. And here I would highly recommend the GoPro Hero 8 or Hero 7. I have the DJI Osmo Action that I use, and I wouldn't recommend that. I know I usually always talk good about it, but there are some issues that I already saw with FPV in terms of the stabilization and some other things that I just don't enjoy, especially with FPV. So I would go with the GoPro Hero 8, which is currently on the GoPro site on a discount. I think you got it for $330. The DJI Osmo Action is around the same price, and the older version of the GoPro, so the Hero 7, is also I think at $300, so I would always go with the GoPro Hero 8, and then you already have Hyper Smooth 2.0, and the smoother the footage, the better for FPV, they say. That was pretty much it. There are a few little things that I still need to mention here. So you're going to need the simulator, because you know you need to practice in the simulator, and I did not find one for free that works, so I would just go with a paid one. I bought the Drone Racing League Simulator, I think it's called. It costs $8 and it works pretty well, but I've seen that there's another one called Liftoff, which is double the price, which costs $20, and that should work even better, or some people say that it's more comfortable to learn in. I don't know, just go with one and you're good. And then lastly, which I did not mention yet, is the batteries. You're definitely going to need batteries to fly a drone, and depending on your drone you need to choose different batteries. But for my drone, which is a 4S drone, I need I think 1500 mAh batteries, and one of these batteries I think costed me around $15, 15 years. So in total it was like with shipping $50 again on 3 batteries, because I would definitely recommend at least getting 3. Otherwise, I don't know, one battery lasts for 4 minutes, 5 minutes, so you should get at least 3 batteries. And now that's it. I think I had everything. I developed this list sitting here for 1 hour and researching, and I'm pretty sure that I did not forget anything. If I forgot anything here, please let me know that in the comments below. But now let's come to the conclusion and the final answer. Okay, here's the answer, the thing that you wanted to see. If you want to get started into FPV today with a drone, the E-Sheen glasses, not the FATSHARK, a simulator, 3 batteries and a FRSKY radio, then you're at $800 or euros, and that's more or less what you need to spend to get into this. It's definitely a lot, and I think not everyone is willing to spend this amount of money on something like FPV droning. But if you really want to do this, and if you're sure that this is for you, then you should definitely try it. Because if you compare this to the Mavic Air 2, which came out a couple of days ago, which is more like a filmmaking tool, that costs also $800. So here you go. If you're thinking about getting into drones, you can go the FPV path or buy a Mavic, and it's going to be pretty much the same. That's my final thought. Oh, why is my water blinking? Strange. One last thing that I would like to mention here is, now that we've talked a lot about this and you hopefully got the information now, before you make a purchase like this, or before you decide to get into FPV, you should probably think about it a little bit, and don't just go on Banggood or wherever you go now and buy all this stuff. First up, get in your head for a while and think about, is this something that you actually want to do? Or is, for example, a DJI Mavic drone better for you? You just need to understand what you want to do, because if you just want to create nice looking videos, then a Mavic might be better for you. But if you want to get something special and something that looks different, and also a big part if you're interested in changing different things of the drone and playing around with this, and you need to enjoy the process of building a drone and changing stuff and solving different problems that might take you days to solve. And if that's not for you, then you're probably better with the DJI drone. But the last thing that I would leave you with today, this is just a tip from filmmaker to filmmaker, video creator to video creator. If you are a video creator or filmmaker and you want to get into this as a video tool, if I can give you one tip, just go for it now, because we are still, and I've talked about this before, we're still very early with this, and if you get into this now as a filmmaker, you are into it before the boom starts, because I know it's going to happen. I know that DJI is going to bring out probably very soon a full drone, and then it's still going to be special, but it's going to be what drones, for example, normal drones are now. So I would say if you're thinking about getting into this and you're a filmmaker, video creator, just go for it, and you will maybe thank me later in a few years. I just saw something that excites me. That is definitely a win. That was it for today. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting. I hope that I could help you out with anything. And if you did get something out of this, feel free to subscribe below and leave a like. I would love you to join, and I will hopefully see you there in the next video. Goodbye. I will now finish eating my cookie. Thanks. Bye. Oh, I forgot this whoosh transition. That was the wrong sound. That's it.